Amaranths belong to the genus Amaranthus. The plants of this genus are generally called pigweeds and considered weeds. However, there are some species that are grown as specialty crop vegetables, grain, or ornamentals in many parts of the world, including California. These are usually summer annuals or short-lived perennials. There are about 70 species of amaranths. The main three species of cultivated amaranths are Amaranthus coedatus, Amaranthus cruentus, and Amaranthus hypochondriacus. Today, we are at the Gene Bank of the Nepal Agricultural Research Council in Kathmandu, Nepal, where studies are being conducted to conserve the gene pool of this specialty crop. Grain amaranths are very nutritious and an excellent source of carbohydrate, protein, dietary fiber, and nutrients such as manganese, magnesium, iron, and selenium. Leafy amaranths are rich in vitamin A and C, calcium, manganese, and folate. Amaranths are gluten-free, hence this can be an excellent diet for gluten-intolerant people. Amaranths were known to the Aztecs as huatli, and they served as energy crops to them. In many places of Mesoamerica, amaranth grains are toasted like popcorn and mixed with honey, molasses, or chocolate to make it a treat called alegria, which means joy in Spanish. Although amaranth were cultivated on a large scale in Mexico and Central America, in recent years its cultivation has declined. The nutritional and gluten-free quality of amaranth is encouraging people to re-explore this crop. Mr. Krishna Gimire is a plant breeder at the Gene Bank in Nepal and is working on this crop. Here he is showing us the germplasm of amaranths collected from various parts of Nepal. He is multiplying the seeds and conserving them at this National Gene Bank. There are about 200 accessions of amaranth at this location. What you see here are the grain type of amaranths.
This one is the drooping type of amaranth. The drooping type can be red, yellow, or white in color. This one is Amaranthus caudatus species, which is mainly a grain type, but people also use the leaves as a vegetable. This one here is a common variety of Nepal, but records indicate that this was introduced from an unknown source about 50 years ago. It is called Amaranthus cruentus. It is a grain type and the highest yielding type among all amaranths. The plants you see here are actually over mature and look orange. In Nepal, people also use the leaves as a vegetable. This species is Amaranthus hypochondriacus. This is a grain type of amaranth, and the inflorescence is spinier than the others. These also come in various colors, such as red, green, and yellow. Because of their attractive colors, people also use it as an ornamental crop. There are other wild species of amaranths also in Nepal, but these are the three main species that are cultivated in a commercial scale in Nepal. We don't have exact data on commercial use of amaranths, but unofficial records show that these are cultivated in the high hills of the far western and midwestern region of Nepal. People in this region make sweets out of it. They also mix it in milk, and some just roast and eat it. Some people also grind the grains and use the flour to cook bread. From the regions of Nepal that I just mentioned, about 60 tons of grain is exported to India. In India, it is used to make various sweet confectionaries. In Nepal, these are also consumed as vegetables. These are high in carbohydrate and minerals. Amaranths do not need a lot of water, and they're in fact a drought-tolerant crop and do not do very well in waterlogged situations. This is an erect type of amaranth. This is a drooping type of amaranth.
Although this is an old crop with a lot of nutritional value and can easily be harvested, agronomic research is still lacking in most parts of the world. With recurring droughts, this is the time to re-explore this specialty crop. Now we are going to look at another minor crop in Nepal that has the potential to become a specialty crop. These are called millets, and there are many kinds of millets. These are called finger millets because of their unique finger-like inflorescence.
South Asia.
These crops are cultivated in South Asia. In Nepal, after rice, wheat, and corn, millets are the most cultivated crop, especially in the mid-hill areas. These are also rich in nutrients and minerals. In Nepal, we call it a climate-smart crop because of its drought-tolerant properties. We have many varieties of millets here at the Gene Bank. Millets have a very high diversity in the germplasm. In these studies here, we're mainly selecting for plant height, grain maturity period, grain color, and head type. In the finger millets, we get high variability in the compactness of the inflorescence and number of fingers, which can range from 2 to 10. These are indigenous varieties in Nepal. These are of the same species, Eleusine coracanna. But you can see that there is a high amount of variability even within the same species. So we're trying to select them based on the characteristics I just mentioned. This is another variety of millet. In Nepal, people will make alcoholic drinks from millets. The grains are very nutritious, and people make bread from their flour after grinding the seeds. Again, a lot of potential exists for the improvement of this crop, both genetically and agronomically. Now let's look at some other specialty crops that we're working on at this gene bank. These are a special type of native bean in Nepal. It is called the tawari bean, and in English it is called the sword bean. Here are catmints, also called catnip. The scientific name is Nepeta cataria, and it's native to Europe, Asia, and Africa, and is also naturalized in North America and mostly used in ornamentals. People in Nepal consume the leaf as a vegetable or use it as an herb because of its medicinal properties. This is Echinocloa cruscali, which is known more in the world as a serious weed, but what you see is a cultivated type of this species, probably unique to Nepal. It is considered a very pure crop. According to the Hindu religion, the grains are consumed in Nepal.
Nepal is a country of 30 million people that boasts several indigenous crops. Many of these crops are disappearing and are being replaced by major grain crops such as rice, wheat, and corn. However, in recent years, the value of these crops are being recognized and efforts are underway to conserve the gene pool of these so-called climate-smart crops at the National Gene Bank here in Kathmandu.